Likutei Halachos, or Achaim, Inen Kadish, Halacha Aleph, we're holding by Siman Ches. Valken, a Kadish, that's why the Kadish, Ubchinas Ha'omud Sheben Oilam Lo'ilam. Kadish is the column, the staircase between one world to the next. That is the venue through which you go up or down from one realm to the next. The main elevation of the realms from one to the next. The only thing that can elevate the world into B'chinas Tikkun that is above it is by the will of wills, the primordial, initial will. It's the highest madrega, the top nekuda in that particular universe that in itself comes, emanates from the one above it. Every oilam, Reb David, every oilam emanates from the one above it. The derech is that the highest madrega of the lower world is like the lowest madrega of the world above it. So if the highest madrega of the world below is the keser, is the crown. Crown, if you remember, is the level of the will. Right? Like for instance, we are learning over here, so this is a oilam. The fact that we're sitting here and we're learning, this is a universe. Now, the highest madrega of this universe is the promise that we're going to come here and learn. Right? It's the keser of us sitting learning here is that we made plans, we wanted to, we made preparations to come sit here. Okay? So that's the keser. So it's the rotzen. We wanted to. Without this, nothing was going to happen, right? So we said keser mitzad echad on one hand. It's considered from Olamas Ein Sof, in other words, beyond here. I mean, the fact that we wanted to, and the fact we're actually sitting down, there's a table, the coffee, this, snuff, it's nothing to do with that. It's only in potential, it includes everything, and at the same time, it belongs to whoever we did before. We were there, and then we wanted. So it belongs to, the end of what we did before is that we wanted to come sit learn here. That was the Malchus. When we were there, we said, well, you come pick me up, and this is the Malchus, it's the end of the previous world, and the beginning of this one. The Malchus of the world above is the Keser of the world that comes out of it.
It's like a link.
Right.
And the bottom of the one link is connected.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Right. It's the same one. The Malchus of the world is part of the Keser of the world. The Keser is divided into three, but doesn't, without getting into, basically the Malchus of the world above is the Keser of the world beyond. So this is what he's saying here. The highest madrega of the world where you're at emanates from the world above it. We'll see it again inside. The main elevation of the world, the ascension of the world from one universe to the next, it's only through the B'chinas of Rotzen Shebaratzenis. It only happens by, with the root of will, of wanting. This is the B'chinas, the Keser of where you are, is that you wanted to, whatever it is, that emanates from the world above it. And the main ascension from one madrega to the next, from one universe to the next. This is through the perfection of the Ratzon. The what? When you're zeicha to cancel everything, until you come to the completion, perfection of the Ratzon. This is the will of wills, the primordial will. This is where you come to a higher will, which is higher still. From there, in other words, the will to get from one world to the next, you have to borrow a rocket power, a booster, from the highest of the highest of the highest of the high. Just to want to move ahead is not enough.
Because you need something greater.
You have to borrow from the top Ratzon. Then you have enough Ratzon to get from where you are to the next. Because usually, to continue the way you are, in your own envelope of comfort, requires just a regular Ratzon. But in order to actually elevate yourself from one world to the next, you need an extra boost of Ratzon, which is what the Rabbi calls akshanos, stubborn, a real resoluteness that comes from a Ratzon Elyon, totally because I want. What? Because I want. But why? Usually a Ratzon has a reason. Why do you want? Because this. But there's a Ratzon beyond this, which is Ratzon Shabbat I want because I want, and that's it. A determination, a resoluteness that stems from Ratzon Elyon. So all the Ritzonos that where you have to leave, your warm, comfortable bed and go out in the rain, or go out to break the ice in Tevel, or wake up Chatzos, wake from your bed. You need to be yonik, you need to be fed from the Rosh Hashanah, that once without reason, beyond reason, because it is, because I want to, because then you go to, this is the way it's in Kabbalah, Kadish. That's why the Kadish, that with the Kadish you are actually connected to the very roots of the Ratzon Shabbat, the will of wills, the primordial volition, until everything turns over and becomes Ratzon. Even the Chochmah of nature, that really feeds off from a Targum, from the mix of good and bad, everything flips over and becomes Ratzon. That's why this is the thing that enables you to ascend from one universe to the next. The Pchinas Shorosh HaRatzon Kanal. And Sif Tes says, "V'zeh Pchinas Bochu," that you say between Ishtabach and Yoitzel. Because suddenly you say Kaddish, and then all of a sudden there's a new thing introduced. Baruch. He says, "Ki bracha mesridat kahanim." The bracha comes from the side of the kahanim, as we said. The Birkas Kahanim, all the brachas are from Kahanim. That's why, of course, Birkas Hamazon, you have to mention the Kohanim and be mechabed the Kohanim to say Birkas Hamazon v'chule. B'vchinas kotev v'chule. This is how you should edge. Validei Psukkah de Zimro. It is through the Psukkah de Zimro, all the Mizmor things that we say before. Shaldei Zeh Malin Seiro. We said before that Zmiro. This is the shot of cutting of chopping down. Zmira Ritzim, chop down the Ritzim, this is the Zimra. This is you're building the year. We said the year, if you remember, is the keli with which you can receive the bracha, because you cannot receive bracha without a keli. A keli is always, it's tzimtzum, it's always, you know...
You can't receive a bracha
without a keli.
Right, so you have to build the keli.
You have to build the keli first, and then you can fill it with bracha. So psukkah de zimra, you're making the keli, which is the year, and you're ready for bracha. This is bracha, this is the kahanim, this is where you receive the bracha. Well, then psukkah de zimra, shal de zimalim is a year, then you elevate the year, you're creating the keli. V'azah nimshach chesed, and then a chesed comes on, b'fchinas in the porach matei Aaron v'slevi. Here is, flowered the staff of Aaron to the house of the Levites, as Rabbeinu said. This is why you're zoicher to the bracha, shu b'chinas kohen. V'zeh b'chinas bracha. This is what it says. Bracha b'chinas bracha. B'chinas in the aspect, v'atem konei Hashem tikareu. You will be called the Kohanim of Hashem. There's a bow in the flame.